Fox Sports.
We are Fox Sports. We are Florida.
Finally, the month of July has arrived, and the Marlins are coming around. The bats are alive. The hitters are hitting. Low V-stays are happening. With the Phillies in town, the Marlins try to complete a sweep before getting away to Milwaukee. Blue skies above, hot summer afternoon in Miami. The roof is closed. Hyundai presents a Sunday of baseball as the Phillies and the Marlins finish off a 3-game series. And the Marlins are going for a sweep. Come on inside where it's nice and cool. Crowd of over 30,000 is expected as, again, the Marlins and the Phillies go at it. Rich Waltz along with Tommy Hutton. And the Marlins finished June the way they started June. They took 2 of 3 from the Phillies, and to win 2 in a row and have a shot at a sweep is a nice turnaround.
It's really amazing. In the month of June, half of the Marlins wins came against the Philadelphia Phillies. They'd like to finish them off here in this series.
This is an interesting day in baseball because in moments the all-star teams for the National League and the American League will be announced. Now everybody expects that Giancarlo Stanton will be the Marlins representative, and certainly a deserving one.
Well, absolutely. He is the one Marlin who deserves to be in the All-Star game with his 18 home runs. The batting average right now, he's getting hot at the right time. A 4-game hitting streak, and Giancarlo is 7 for 14 during that span. Last July, by the way, in case you're wondering, as he approaches the month today, he hit 270 with 8 home runs. So hopefully we'll see Giancarlo in that All-Star game. We know we're going to see him in the home run hitting contest.
The Marlins have won 3 straight overall, and one of the big reasons why, starting pitching. They've had actually 5 really good starts together. The 5th one was a Ricky Nolasco start. He deserved much better the last time out.
Yeah, he did. He should have won that game against the St. Louis Cardinals. Ricky's had a pretty good career against the Phillies. He's 7-4 in his career. He'd like to start the month of July. His ERA in June, he'd like to forget about it. So Ricky Nolasco, a couple of right-handers in this one today. Joe Blanton, of all the pitchers that the Phillies have, Blanton actually has a really good record. He's won 7 games against the Marlins. He's actually pitched well as a member of the Phillies coming over from Oakland.
Marlins have seen him twice this year. They've beaten him once. He's gotten the best of the Marlins once. So there's Blanton. You see his season records. Blanton, along with Ricky Nolasco, getting ready to go as the Fish try to sweep the Phillies.
Yeah, it's one of those series. You think about it, it's a series that wraps around the month. Usually you wrap around a day, but now we begin the month of July. Whew, good thing June's over.
All right, bring it on. Here comes July. The Marlins going after a sweep. When we get back, roster move. Broken toe, Edward Mujica on the DL. Who's up? We'll find out when we return. whether you're outside enjoying the water, hold on to your sunglasses, or if you're inside Marlins Park, where the roof is closed, the AC is on, and a big crowd is expected as the Phillies and the Marlins finish off a 3-game series. Let's start things in center field. Craig Minervini, Jeff Conine.
Very much, Rich, as we look forward to this Game 3 and the finale here before the Marlins hit the road. And a couple of changes for the Marlins. As you talked about yesterday, Edward Mojica going to the disabled list. The Marlins made a move here. And then bring up a guy who was the talk of spring training for the Fish, Jeff.
I'll tell you what, he was the best pitcher in spring training. Brought him in probably as a 5th starter candidate, depending on what Carlos Zambrano did, but he had an outstanding spring as well. But you look at his numbers, 5-5 with a 3.7. He started off kind of slow and early on in AAA, so lately he's pitched much better, and they're going to be using him out of the bullpen probably as kind of a long man.
All right, some thoughts on that in a sec. First, though, Mojica as he goes to the DL with a broken toe.
They told me, like, just take it easy, you know, just get ready and just be ready for after the break.
No, the long is going to be, hopefully, you know, he threw the ball very well. Hopefully he's going to be a long reliever. Hopefully he's not a long reliever. I mean, that's a good sign with the starter. But we try to use it the most we can because he's a touch and feel guy, and see how going to take to get here, how we're going to use it.
All right, so will you join me? Say so long to June, and here we go. July starts for the Marlins. And hopefully continues on the same note. Actually, June started on a good note.
Solid 3 months of the season right here.
We'll
Solid
see.
3 months.
All right, the Marlins hit 28 points lower in June than they did in May, but believe it or not, they hit one more homer in the month of June over May with a lot less bats. Today they'll go for the sweep against the Phillies and try to make it 6 out of 9 on the season set. It's all coming up next on Fox Sports Florida.
Florida, brought to you by Hyundai. If it's fuel efficient, affordable, stylish, and safe, it's probably a Hyundai. By AT&T, the nation's largest 4G network. AT&T, rethink possible. By Papa John's. Right now at Papa John's, get any large pizza, even specialties, for only $12. And by Toyota, visit your local Toyota dealer today for great deals on an amazing lineup of Toyota vehicles. Toyota, moving forward. Marlins Park filling up as the Phillies and the Marlins play Game 3. The Marlins have won the first 2. Here's the lineup that Ricky Nolasco will face. The Phillies will trot out in this order. Jimmy Rollins, former Marlin Juan Pierre, who's had a very nice season. Hunter Pence, the Marlins can't get him out. He may be an all-star in a few minutes as well. Certainly Carlos Ruiz should be on that team. Shane Victorino's in center. Placido Polanco slides down to the 6th spot. Ty Wigginton gets another start at first base. Mike Fontenot gives Chase Utley the day off, and Joe Blanton will hit 9th.
All right, we're going to plant some positive seeds in the mind of Ricky Nolasco. His last win was June 2nd. It was in Philadelphia, so it was against this Philadelphia ball club. Plant another positive seed. Ricky 7-4 in his career with a nice 3.67 ERA against the Phillies. A no decision last time out, but threw the ball well. 6 2/3, gave up just 4 hits and 1 run to the St. Louis Cardinals. Let's take a look at the defense, brought to you by Cleveland Clinic, Florida. There's Hanley and Reyes Infante, and Greg Dobbs with the start at first. Ruggiano starting in center, flanked by Lomo and Giancarlo, and John Buck is behind the plate.
Ozzie Guillen and the Marlins won just 8 games in the month of June. The Phillies won just 9 games that month, but the Fish have finished strong. They finished with 3 consecutive wins. Charlie Manuel and the Phillies awaiting Ryan Howard, who continues to play in rehab games down in AAA. Pinch a Penny's first pitch, Nolasco, a fastball that misses outside. Jimmy Rollins leads it off. He'll be followed by Juan Pierre and Hunter Pence, as the Phillies and the Marlins do it for the 3rd time in this series. Nolasco misses away, and it's 2-0. We got 2 starting pitchers in this ball game who are very much control freaks. And that's in a good sense. We're talking about walks. Nolasco normally among the best. That's a deep drive to right, but Stanton should have room, and he's there, and he makes the catch. Citizens Bank Park, though, that one might have been up off the scoreboard or maybe out of here.
Yeah, as Stanton's going back on that ball, he may be thinking to himself, hey, I'll tell Jimmy Rollins he's playing in a big man's park right here.
Here comes Juan Pierre. JP getting his 2nd start of the series. As we talked about when the Marlins were in Philadelphia, and the Marlins have been there already twice. It's the Phillies' first trip. Pierre's been a real nice addition. The fastball at the letters for a strike. Pierre had a hit in his start on Friday night. Ricky spins one and misses outside. Pierre, of course, a Marlin for 3 years, and a terrific Marlin he was. A big part of the World Championship team in 2003. Smacks this one inside the line by the diving Greg Dobbs. Stanton into the corner. Pierre's thinking triple, on his way to 3rd. Relay throw not even made. And JP triples his 4th of the season, and the Phillies in business here in the 1st inning.
Kind of had the feeling once this ball got past Greg Dobbs, the first baseman, and got near that line, you know that Giancarlo is not playing Pierre to pull. So he had a long way to go on a pitch that was up off the line. You don't expect Pierre to pull a lot of pitches in that area. So by the time Stanton was able to track it down, JP with his speed able to make it to 3rd.
And the Phillies have to like their chances to get this run home, because this is a matchup that in this series and between these 2 particulars has gone the Phillies' way. Hunter Pence is red hot, 5 for 8, 2 homers in the series. And against Ricky Nolasco, Pence in his career has done some damage as well. Infield back, slow breaking ball, and he misses up. Dana DeMuth, the veteran, is behind home plate calling balls and strikes. Angel Campos at first, Paul Nauert at second. Doug Eddings is the umpire at 3rd base. There's Pence. His season numbers, series numbers. He might be in the National League reserves for the All-Star team. He certainly has the credentials. And a strike.
For Juan Pierre, by the way, Rich's 90th career triple. You're right about Pence. He could be there. There are a lot of outfielders that certainly are eligible to be All-Stars, and there will always be 1 or 2 that get snubbed.
Pence has 5 hits against Nolasco in his career. 4 of those are home runs. Velasco takes a look at Pierre. And Pence right up on the plate, backed off by a fastball.
Yeah, it's interesting. The 5 hits, yet Ricky's gotten him out a lot. I mean, he's 5 for 23.
It is a weird split.
Yeah.
But the way Pence is swinging the bat right now, you expect a line drive someplace. Two-one, grounder to third. Hanley's got it. Runner coming home. The throw. He's safe. Pierre got the hand in. Buck tried to block the plate, but the left hand of Juan Pierre got there before the tag.
The only thing that kept that from being an out is the fact that the throw was high. If the throw was down, John Buck would have had a much better opportunity. Not a bad choice by Hanley. He picks it, and the throw is high. John tries to get the leg to block Juan Pierre, but he's able to get that hand on the plate. Now, there's a good slide. See how he snuck that hand around Buck. The only bad part about that play, you're in the first inning, you want to get outs, and the Marlins didn't get an out there. Pence is at first base.
Hunter Pence gets an RBI and a fielder's choice. And now here is Carlos Ruiz. So the Phillies score first. Ruiz hits a tapper towards short. Reyes. Infante. Quick turn. Terrific turn by Infante, who was laid out at second on the slide by Pence. Dobbs with a great pick. Infante is hobbled as he comes off the field. The Marlins get a incredible double play, but it may have come at a cost. Infante takes the hit, makes the turn. From the trainers, looks like he's okay, which is great news for the Marlins after that terrific turn to finish off the top of the first. Here come the Marlins now. Jose Reyes leads it off. Reyes has had a nice series. Hanley Ramirez hit line drives all over the place at people yesterday. Giancarlo Stanton in right, Logan Morrison in left, Justin Ruggiano in the 5 spot. Greg Dobbs is at first, Omar Infante at second, John Buck hits 8th, Ricky Nolasco hits 9th.
First time in the series, the Phillies have scored first. Now they turn it over to Joe Blanton. Where he's gotten in trouble this year is the long ball. Blanton's allowed 18 home runs this year.
Blanton very stingy with the walks. Reyes 3 for 9 in this series. Couple of doubles. Couple stolen bases. And he takes down low a fastball. Blanton has walked just 13. He is tops in the National League in walks per 9 inning. He gives up just 1.2 walk.
13 walks in 98 innings.
For every 9 innings. And he's gone 3-0 on Reyes. Marlins would love to get Reyes aboard. He stole 2 bases yesterday. And Blanton catches the outside corner. National League All-Star Team starters and reserves being announced. We will get you those when we can. Some of the names filtering out, and Reyes sends that one into center field. Blanton comes back from a 3-0 count to get the Marlins leadoff hitter out.
Take a look at the defense, brought to you by Cleveland Clinic of Florida. Juan Pierre, Victorino, and Pence, good speed in the outfield. Polanco, Rollins, Mike Fontenot with the start, giving Utley today off. Wigginton at first, Ruiz behind the plate. Utley is available for pinch hitting duties, though.
Here's Hanley Ramirez. On paper, he's 2 for 8 in this series, but he had a frustrating day yesterday in that he hit 2 line drives right at the Phillies left fielder. John Mayberry was a left fielder yesterday, and Blanton busts him in with a fastball. So he ended up 1 for 4, but felt certainly good about his swing. Giancarlo Stanton will follow. A strike, although you saw Ruiz have trouble with it, and it spun on the inside part of the plate. Ruiz kind of took it off the plate. Counts 1-1.
You know, you look at some of the batting averages, Rich, in June. Hanley at 227, Lomo 238.
Hanley's bat goes rocketing into the seats. Actually, it's not only the bat, it's a broken bat, and that's really dangerous. Let's hope everybody is okay.
And in the meantime, the ball popped up to the first baseman, Ty Wigginton. Wow, look out.
So Blanton has a couple of outs, and here comes Giancarlo Stanton.
Those are great seats, but you have to be alive.
And Stanton takes a strike. That's the business end of the bat. Stanton stepping out. Good timing, because it's just been announced that he is a National League All-Star. So Stanton, one of the reserves for the National League All-Star team, that just being announced moments ago. The National League pitchers, the Phillies have a couple of pitchers, Cole Hamels, Jonathan Papelbon. Stanton hits a fly ball to right field. Hunter Pence is there, and Pence makes the catch. 1-0. A 1-2-3 first for Joe Blanton. Today at Marlins Park, Marlins and Phillies finishing off a 3-game series. Ricky Nolasco, the Coventry second inning, goes back to work. It was a Juan Pierre triple, the key hit for the Phillies. And he scored on a bang-bang play on a ground ball off the bat of Hunter Pence. Shane Victorino, Placido Polanco, and Ty Wigginton to face Nolasco.
Yeah, Ricky's numbers in the month of June could have been a little better. We talked about his last outing and no decision. But 1-3 with a 5.90 ERA in June.
Ricky misses outside to Victorino. Victorino, a couple of hits in the series. He was 1 for 3, a sacrifice fly yesterday. Phils have scored 5 runs in this series, and Hunter Pence has driven 4 of the 5 in. That one's slicing, fouling out of play.
Now, he started to get hot a little bit before this series. Pence 5 for 9 in the series now, but he has a 6-game hitting streak, hitting over 400.
One-two breaking ball. That's Dobbs over there at first today. And he wins the race to the bag. An out. Marlins getting Dobbs, that left-handed bat, in there against Blanton. I think significant, too, as we went down the Marlins lineup, and we've seen Ozzie do it a couple times now in this week. Justin Ruggiano starting against a right-hander, and the way he's played, he absolutely deserves it.
I think it's actually refreshing to see a player rewarded for his efforts. Sometimes a player gets inserted because of an injury or maybe a slumping player. He does well, and he's always looked at as maybe an extra player. And when that other player gets back or comes out of the slump, then he's out of there. But Ruggiano's earned it. I think he's earned a spot out there without question.
1-1 pitch to Polanco. Little tapper. Ricky bare hands and makes a very nice play. 2 quick outs for Nolasco here in the second. Up comes Wigginton. If you're coming to Marlins Park to see the Marlins this year, you can secure your seats through a variety of season ticket and mini plan options. Save money off box office prices. Enjoy all the benefits of being a Marlins season ticket holder. Pick up your plan today, 1-877-MARLINS, or go to marlins.com. Kids today getting the blue bucket caps on their way into the ballpark. Don't know if that's on your bucket list, but a bucket cap.
Kids don't have bucket lists.
Here's Wigginton. And he takes it down low. There they are. That's the shade of blue that is in the Marlins color scheme.
Looking good. You got the American flag on this 4th of July weekend.
Wigginton lines one to center field. Ruggiano in full flight is there and makes the catch. And for Nolasco, a very nice and tidy second inning. 1-0 Phillies.
presentado en SAP por Coventry Healthcare of Florida.
1-0 ball game. That would be Logan Morrison as he gets prepared to hit against Joe Blanton in the second. Morrison, Justin Ruggiano, and Greg Dobbs. Blanton can be a frustrating guy to face. Breaking ball for a strike. He's got a choppy delivery. You talk to hitters and hitting coaches. They say it's difficult to pick the ball up out of his hand. And as we've talked about, he has impeccable control. Morrison's bat shatters, and he ends up getting a hit. It dumps it into right field. So Lomo's got his 4th hit of the series.
Some impeccable control on that base hit by Logan Morrison. You're talking about Joe Blanton. Let's check a little bit on the scouting report. See what the scouting report tells you about Blanton, a 31-year-old right-hander. Scouting report brought to you by Coventry Healthcare. He is deceptive. You were talking about that short arm type delivery. He can strike you out with all 4 pitches. He has a big slow curveball, and you mentioned earlier only 13 walks in almost 100 innings.
Here's Ruggiano. Ruggiano 4 for 6 in this series. He's driven in 3. He had a terrific month of June. Even though the Marlins won just 8 games, Ruggiano did his part to help the ball club. In fact, he led the National League and was 2nd in the majors. He hit 400 in the month of June. Now he had 50 at bats, was 20 for 50. Craig Gentry hit 455 to lead the majors in June. Morrison not great speed at first. Ruggiano again to left field. Pierre over for it. Morrison's going to test that arm, and Lomo is out. He called him out.
Well, you thought since the month of July had started, the Marlins might catch a break or two. Just barely getting the tag on Logan Morrison was Polanco. The throw was a little high. Lomo tried to sneak around Polanco to get the bag with his hand. He was called out initially. You see if Polanco got him on the back. Yeah, he did. It's just a great effort by Polanco and a decent throw by Juan Pierre. You know he doesn't throw the ball well, but he got it there in time.
And Ruggiano still at first base, and so the Marlins get back-to-back hits, but all they have now is a runner at first and 1 out, and here's Dobbs.
The base hit, by the way, Rich, excuse me, of Ruggiano illustrates what Eduardo Perez was telling us the other day. How he likes to pick the outer half or the inner half, look for a pitch there. That pitch was inner half. The way he swung at that pitch told me that that's what he was looking for, looking in that area.
So he's 5 for 7 in this series. Marlins had their first 2 hits against Joe Blanton. And of course, the book is to run on Juan Pierre. That's his first outfield assist this year.
And we've talked about this outfield, because it's deeper, because it's bigger, much more difficult for Juan Pierre because of where he has to play.
Give him credit, though. He made a good throw.
Yeah,
Polanco a good tag. Dobbs a swinging bunt up the line. Blanton there and makes a terrific play. Boy, Joe Blanton is kind of a portly guy, 6'3", 235. That doesn't mean he's not a good athlete. He just showed it on that play.
Yeah, he did. That's a great play for any pitcher to make. To get over, now he's got to plant his feet. He actually was leaning a little bit backward as he made that throw. And so many times when a pitcher makes that throw, it's an exceptional play for a pitcher because that's not his normal delivery. They're used to repeating a delivery and throwing the ball the same all the time.
Now Infante. Omar Infante leading the Marlins with 20 doubles. And Blanton misses inside with a fastball.
Boy, in the month of April, we were certainly talking about Omar Infante as a possible all-star.
His average comes in at 289. His power numbers have stalled. Just 7 homers, 27 driven in. Smacks that one to left. Pierre won't get it, and it's by him to the wall. The Marlins have tied it, and Infante has his 21st double.
Well, the Marlins have had some good cuts against Joe Blanton in this inning. Even though they've gotten just the 1 run so far, have been some balls hit pretty well. The target was outside, looked like a little slider, and it got middle of the plate. And it was spanked by Infante, got it past Juan Pierre.
Now here's John Buck. First base is open, and Nolasco is on deck, so we'll see how Blanton approaches Buck. With a breaking ball, Buck drives it to right. That ball's deep, and it's over the head of Pence, and it's off the wall. Buck racing to second. He's in there with a double. It's 2-1. Really surprised that Blanton went after Buck with Nolasco waiting on deck and first base open. And Buck went after the first pitch and drilled it.
Yeah, I'm totally surprised that he got a good pitch to hit. Again, a breaking ball. So the last 2 doubles have been on breaking pitches by Blanton, and they've been hit well. One by Infante, this one by John Buck. That's a good idea. Sometimes you think backwards when you're hitting in that situation. You're not going to look for that nice fastball. You think off speed because the pitcher's coming up next.
And Buck continues a nice resurgence. His second RBI this series. Infante probably still smarting from that play at second base. And here's Nolasco. Ricky has driven in 3 runs this year, and he's very capable of running into one. Got the outfield, though, quite shallow. And you got John Buck out at second base. Nolasco to center. Victorino is there. And he makes the catch. Marlins get 2 and lead at 2-1.
All-Star game on the team. We brought up the topic to manager Ozzie Guillen on the possibility of him going to the All-Star game before this ball game.
You know, I mean, it's been great for this organization. And obviously for him, that's a personal goal everybody would like to have. But for the organization and baseball, you got new blood, new kids coming out, All-Star games, not the same guys all the time. Oh, that'd be nice. I mean, I think hopefully do that.
And for Stanton, going to his first All-Star game, a .283 average with big power numbers, RBI, slugging percentage. He was already going there anyway, so this will just extend the trip a bit as he'll be in the All-Star Derby on Monday night, and that might even these days have more appeal and from a one-on-one standpoint with all the visibility, especially if you should go deep into that contest the night before the All-Star game, guys.
Twitter was made for a day like this because of the All-Star being announced. Everyone's tweeting out which All-Stars. There's a good tweet from respected baseball writer Joe Sheehan, who said the National League outfield is just nuts. He would take the National League outfield backups over the American League starters, and the three that he lists, McCutchen in center, Stanton in right, Braun in left.
Not too bad right there. Not too bad at all. Ryan Braun with a 2-homer game yesterday. We'll see him starting tomorrow night.
Fontenot muscles up, hits one to right. Stanton back shy of the track and makes the catch. He wasn't the only University of Miami product that had a 2-homer day.
It was a great day for University of Miami alum. Yasmani Grandal of the San Diego Padres was called up recently, started his first game yesterday, and set a major league record. Became the first player ever to have his first 2 hits in the major leagues be home runs, and one from each side of the plate.
That was his first major league start. He had had a major league at bat before that start.
So he hit a couple. Grandal, Ryan Braun hit 2.
Nolasco with a good breaking ball. Blanton a swing and a miss.
Miami Springs High School for Grandal as well.
Oh, 2 pitch. Grandal, part of that draft in 2010, and was sent to San Diego in the big trade, which has paid off for both sides. Matt Latos certainly looked good yesterday against San Francisco. Yonder Alonso also in that package, along with Edinson Volquez.
Yeah, I was checking too, Rich, and Grandal earned his way up to the Padres in AAA in the Coast League at Tucson. He was hitting .335.
He was, I want to say, 10th or 11th in that draft. The Marlins drafted Kristen Yelich, and he was 20 in the low 20s.
I tell you what, Yelich has been on fire lately. Yelich back over 300 in the Florida State League. The other night for Jupiter, had a 2-homer game, one of them a grand slam, and had 7 RBIs.
Everything you read about Yelich is positive. The scouts that we've talked to that have seen him play are really impressed, both with him at the plate and in the field. So it's good news, certainly. Jimmy Rollins is up there. Nolasco has 2 quick outs here in the 3rd, and a breaking ball fouled at the plate.
Ricky in a nice groove. I think that double play certainly helped. Chris retired 7 in a row now.
Chris Perez making the American League All-Star team.
So another UM. Nice going. That always makes our graphics guru, Kenny Lee, proud.
Ken Lee, the former sports information director at University of Miami, and his baby while he was there was baseball. He was the baseball guru, the go-to guy for everything UM. Rollins couldn't hold up. 91 for Nolasco on that fastball. A good sign for Ricky, and a 2-1 lead for the Marlins. presented by the authority, the Miami Marlins, may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Miami Marlins. The legalese is over. Let the bottom of the third begin as Reyes goes after a changeup, and the count's 1-1. Joe Blanton fell behind Reyes 3-0 in the first and came back on a 3-1 pitch, got him to hit a fly ball to center field. Counts 1-2. Reyes, Hanley Ramirez, Giancarlo Stanton. Top of the order for the Fish. Boy, the bottom of the order sure coming through. RBI doubles by Omar Infante and John Buck. Logan Morris and Justin Ruggiano with base hits as well. That's smoked, but foul. And it's 1-2.
There's a couple of things that are really a plus early on in the game. You like the approach, the swings that the Marlins have had off Joe Blanton. And you also like the way Ricky Nolasco has thrown the ball.
Little roller. Fontenot gets Reyes. The Marlins have won the first 2 of this 3-game series. How does that affect the National League East, you ask? Tico, the People's Gas, brings you the standings. Nationals at 44-32. Steven Strasburg had the Heat get to him yesterday, and the Braves made up a game. R.A. Dickey, Johan Santana still going strong for the Mets. They're 2.5 back. Miami 7.5 back. And the Fish been within 5.5 of that last wild card spot for a while. And a win here today certainly wouldn't hurt. Hanley takes a breaking ball up, and it's 1-0. Outside corner for Blanton. One of the things about Blanton, in terms of strikeouts, and he has struck out 82 this year. 33 of his 82 have been looking.
Goes back to the deceptiveness that we talked about.
Pierre comes in on that fly ball from Hanley Ramirez. And that's one of the top 5 marks in the National League. Excuse me, in the major leagues. Mr. Price over in St. Pete with the Rays leads. The Toyota trend. Last time the Phillies trailed the National League East leader by 10 or more games. 2006. Stanton scorches a ground ball foul. David Price 44 called looking. Then you've got Phillies on the list. Cliff Lee 39, Vance Worley 37, Joe Blanton tied with Matt Cain at 33 apiece. Count 1-1. Stanton flied to right first time up, and that breaking ball didn't catch the corner. Now it's 2-1.
Well, for a guy, too, who didn't pitch a lot last year because of an impingement in his elbow.
Stanton drives it right field. That's got a chance, and it's gone!
Do that in the home run derby. He can go the other way and win that thing.
19th of the season. Boy, it just looked like a flick of the wrists on that one.
I guarantee he'll tell us all after the game he didn't hit that one well at all. It didn't even sound good. But he got a high fastball. 19th home run now that Blanton's allowed.
Boy, stays inside the ball. Short, compact swing. 3-1 Miami. Morrison up now with 2 outs. Nissan leaders of the game. Stanton just 3 behind Ryan Braun, and the Marlins will see Ryan Braun in the next 4 games headed to Milwaukee. That should be a fun series.
Giancarlo has 12 home runs here in this ballpark, 12 of his 19.
And that's one of the more impressive numbers, because as you've watched games in this ballpark, home runs are not easy to hit here.
And equally impressive, the team has 36. So he has a third of the team's home runs.
Joe Blanton has given up 19 home runs now on the season. 18 of those home runs have come in his last 10 starts, this being his 10th.
I'm going to add one more plus to the early parts of this game. The Marlins' 3 runs have all come with 2 out today. Got that all-star smile, doesn't he?
Yes, he does. Morrison walks, and that's going to bring a hot hitter in Ruggiano up. Ruggiano's numbers are ridiculous right now. He's hitting .404. Drilled the ball down the left field line for a base hit his first time up. Morrison was thrown out at third by Juan Pierre. Ruggiano got a single out of him. Look at that average, .404.
Well, how about this? See, this being his 7th start, if you go back, his last 7 starts, he's 12 for 22.
Wow.
So he's hitting over 500 his last 7 starts.
See the Papa John's Fox tracks. You saw Blanton react. He thought that was a strike. He turned his head. He kind of stalked around the mound. And that one catches the corner, and it's 2-1. Michael McHenry. I think his nickname is the Fort in Pittsburgh.
I like that.
Here's the 2-1. Ruggiano pulls it wide of third. The Pirates are a team that is really playing well right now. Clint Hurdle has them going. They've won 4 straight. They're a game behind Cincinnati. Pittsburgh is 7 over, and maybe this is the year that they don't fade into the second half. The Marlins are going to see them in July. Struck him out. Ruggiano caught looking, and Blanton gets a strikeout. Marlins pick up another run on another long ball from an all-star. 3-1. Via Skype through the magic of electronics. The entire ballpark during the break all stood up and saluted the troops. Overseas, their troops have been watching the ball game, and the fans have been given American flags. Now the troops have just saluted the fans right back. It's a nice moment.
That's great. That is absolutely fantastic.
You can donate. You saw that note. You can donate by texting 90999. 90999. Donate to the troops, Operation Homefront. Of course, that's all part of the Marlins' commitment to the troops. Outback has been great with that on the Military Mondays. Now to Lasco, facing Juan Pierre, Hunter Pence, and Carlos Ruiz. Into the fourth inning in a 3-1 game. The Marlins saw the Phillies jump on top, and Pierre tripled. That was back in the first inning. He scored on the Pence ground ball.
Back-to-back changeups.
And he fouls it back. Cholula hot sauce spotlight player, Mobile, Alabama. A Dale Murphy glove. And he was named after Juan Marichal, his father's favorite player. He was a terrific basketball player, Pierre, growing up as well.
He's put together, and because of a tremendous amount of work, a great resume. Over 2,000 hits, over 1,000 runs, over 500 stolen bases. One of 30 major league players to ever put together those numbers.
Bouncer back to the mound. Lasco spears it and flips to first. So an out here in the fourth inning. AT&T brings you trivia in the fourth inning of every ball game. In 2003, the Marlins set the club record for largest margin of victory. Whom did they beat by 19 runs?
Wow.
2003.
World Championship year.
Hunter Pence. Ricky's fastball misses in, but significant that the fastball has been clocked at 91. I'm talking to Randy St. Clair. He and Lasco in their session before their last start, and Lasco's last start. St. Clair, and it's very similar to what he told Javi Vasquez in May of last year, and that you've got to get your lower body into your delivery. And in his last time out, it looked like his fastball had gained a couple miles per hour.
And when Ricky does that, it helps the changeup and it helps the curveball. Good curveball there. How about the help it gave to Javier Vasquez last year? He was the best pitcher in the National League the second half of the year.
Absolutely. Ricky had a 6-1 lead when he left against the Cardinals, and he was dazzling that night. 6 2/3, just a run and 4 strikeouts. Only 4 hits.
Ricky's not thinking about it now, but his next start will be against the Cardinals Friday.
Got him.
A lot of pitchers have done that to Pence when they get ahead. The book, get ahead, go out of the zone, and get him to chase. Good slider.
Now Lasco stares in at Carlos Ruiz. Ruiz takes in. Ruiz named to the National League All-Star team as a reserve. Cole Hamels, Jonathan Papelbon, the other 2 Phillies. You've just joined us. Giancarlo Stanton is the Marlins representative. That pop-up is going to get out of play. 2-1 to Ruiz.
Thinking about that trivia question, 2003. Speaking of 2003, see where Brad Penny was called up by the Giants?
Did you see where Ben Sheets was signed to a minor league contract, I believe with the Braves?
Ben Sheets hasn't pitched in 10 years.
He had Tommy John surgery in 2010. That fly ball misses, or just getting out of play.
You mentioned last inning, I think it was. You were talking about that trade with the Padres in Cincinnati. Matt Latos out of Coconut Creek High School. Back-to-back complete games. He threw another complete game last night, Latos, in beating San Francisco.
Swing and a miss, and Alasko's got a lot of swing and misses going today. Through 4, Ricky looks good, and the Marlins have a 3-1 lead. That's right. Florida is brought to you by Bennett Auto Supply. Our prices bring you in, our people bring you back. In Miami this afternoon, the Marlins and the Phillies finishing up a 3-game series. Boy, that pool looks good. Cleveland Clinic 4th. 3-1 fish, including a Giancarlo Stanton homer and RBI doubles by Omar Infante and John Buck. Greg Dobbs leads it off with Infante and Buck to follow in the bottom of the 4th against Joe Blanton. Tommy, you were off by a few years. Ben Sheets.
I said that with tongue in cheek.
Yes, you did.
Well, when was the last year he pitched in the major leagues?
2010. He was 4-9 for Oakland, 20 starts, and he had Tommy John surgery in 2010. And he's going to Double-A Mississippi with the Braves.
Of course, Brad Penny had gone to spring training with a Japanese team. He was let go by that team, signed by the Giants, and was pitching in Fresno.
He pitched 1 game in Japan.
Yeah. And his numbers really weren't that great in Fresno. Pitching out of the bullpen, that's how the Giants plan on using him.
Jim Thome, now an Oriole. That was one of the storylines yesterday. The Phillies and the Orioles agreeing to a trade in the middle of the ball game, and Thome was available to pinch hit, and Charlie Manuel would have used him had he had the opportunity. But I would expect Homie's in Baltimore. We have to check to see if he's in the lineup.
Pretty sure he's in the lineup. He is, as the DH, 0 for 1.
As you pointed out, that's going to be a great place for him to hit, and the Orioles could use some left-handed power. Dobbs battling Blanton with the count 2-2. They go in on him, and Greg Dobbs fights it off. Another good crowd in here. There was over 31,000 yesterday for the Phillies and the Marlins. And a good buzz with some Philly fans and Marlin fans, and Dobbs dumps a hit into left field. Our trivia question.
Well, you have to think maybe the Phillies, because the Marlins are playing the Phillies, and no, the Braves. 20-1. Well, we whiffed on that one.
Well, I wasn't here, so I get a pass.
You get a pass. Yeah, I whiffed on that one.
Crowd disappointed. Here's Infante. Omar doubled, RBI double in the second. Blanton throws a strike.
By the way, it's only 102 in Atlanta today. The Nationals playing the Braves. They had the hottest day in Atlanta history yesterday. As we sit here nice and comfy.
Almost got hit, did Infante. And you're right about it, Tommy. If the All-Star team was selected in late May, I think Omar Infante is on the team. One and two. Called strike three. And again, we told you Blanton gets a lot of called strikeouts. Both of his strikeouts in this ball game have been called.
Just a quick check. I was the curiosity got the best of me. I was checking on the box score of that 20-1 game. Josh Beckett, the recipient of all those runs. Lefty Mike Hampton gave up 9 runs in 4 innings pitching for the Braves that day. Miguel Cabrera hit a couple of home runs. Pudge was 4 for 5.
John Buck drove one over the head of Hunter Pence in right. That drove in a run. It was a double in the second.
A little better control with his breaking ball now for Blanton. First round pick of the Athletics out of the University of Kentucky.
Has been a solid contributor, though not a headliner, in the Phillies rotation. No swing.
He's one of those guys they talk about all the time. He gives you innings. He's had 5 years where he's had 30 or more starts. Gives you double figures in wins.
Buck a swing and a miss. 2-2.
Nice watching John Buck lately with the base hit. His last 9 games now. 8 hits, double today, 3 home runs during that span.
Pitch is down low. The 3 catchers that we thought would make it from the National League have made it. Ruiz, Yadier Molina, and Buster Posey is the starting catcher. Some real good names for the National League reserves. Brian LaHair for the Cubs. Jose Altuve for the Astros. Starlin Castro made it from the Cubs. David Wright should be a starter, but he's second. Buck swing and a miss with a runner going. A high throw, and in there is Greg Dobbs. It's a bit of a gamble with Nolasco coming up, but Ozzie Guillen figured, what the heck? And Greg Dobbs with his 3rd stolen base of the season.
A little gamble, but you like to see it. Sometimes it puts a little more pressure on that hitter. The throw was a little high. That allowed Dobbs to get in there.
Yeah, Pablo Sandoval was voted as the starting 3rd baseman for the National League.
I think that's one of the surprises. You and I were kind of talking about the fans generally doing a pretty good job. David Wright hitting .355 coming into play today.
Carlos Gonzalez, Andrew McCutchen, and Ryan Braun in that National League outfield as reserves. A strike, along with Giancarlo Stanton and Jay Bruce. Ian Desmond of the Nationals on the All-Star team.
I have a question. I hate to throw this out there because you may not know it. I don't know this. Because Kemp probably won't play, does the next outfield spot go to the next highest vote getter, or is it the manager's choice?
It's a good question. 1-2 pitch, swing and a miss.
We have time to check on it.
Don't know the answer to that one. We'll check on that one. Marlins on top 3-1. Going to the 5th. Back for more Marlins baseball after the sports injury prevention message from Cleveland Clinic, Florida. Giancarlo Stanton, hey now, is an all-star. His last 9 games certainly has played like one. He's hit 4 homers. His on-base percentage at .474. Marlins have counted on Stanton all year. You can count on Just for Men Auto Stop for foolproof results. Subway 5th, Rich Waltz along with Tommy Hutton, the Marlins and the Phillies. We're talking about the National League All-Star team. Other reserves, pitchers. Gio Gonzalez, an all-star, I believe for the 2nd time. I believe he made it for Oakland one year.
I believe you're right.
Steven Strasburg, an all-star. Aroldis Chapman, Joel Hanrahan of the Pirates, and Craig Kimbrell of the Braves. Also Jonathan Papelbon, Clayton Kershaw, Wade Miley of the Diamondbacks, Houston Street of the Padres, I told you Hamels and Papelbon from the Phillies. Victorino out in front of a changeup, and he fouls it back.
Excellent changeups today from Ricky Nolasco.
The two young phenoms for the Angels both made the ball club. The American League All-Star team is Victorino singles, Mike Trout and Mark Trumbo.
I tell you, watching Giancarlo and Mark Trumbo, who I would guess is going to be in the home run contest, that'll be fun because Trumbo has some incredible power too. That base hit broke a stretch of 11 straight retired by Ricky.
Now Polanco, who is bounced out. You got Wigginton behind him. Nolasco misses outside. Victorino, 19 stolen bases. Polanco fouls it off. A ball and a strike. Polanco, one of those guys that tough to strike out, always on the list of hardest to get strike three by.
Yeah, this year only 23 strikeouts. He's only walked 14 times, though. He doesn't walk either. Just thinking, Rich, it'll be the first look for Giancarlo, Kauffman Stadium, Kansas City. They still call it Kauffman Stadium, don't they? Or has it changed?
I know that they've undergone a tremendous renovation there over the last 2-3 years since the last time we were there. The Marlins were there 2009 or thereabouts. Ricky has 4 strikeouts, hasn't walked anybody, given up a run on 2 hits. Blanton, 4 strikeouts, 3 runs on 6 hits. Marlins looking for a sweep, man. Trying to get some momentum into July. Runner goes, and a pop-up. Hanley Ramirez calls for it and makes the catch.
Yeah, the Marlins have won 3 in a row. Phillies have lost 4 in a row.
Here comes Wigginton now. Wigginton made an all-star team in 2010 as a Baltimore Oriole.
Yeah, he hit 22 home runs that year.
Nolasco looking for win number 7. He and everybody else thought he had number 7 his last time out. He left with a 6-1 lead against St. Louis. Marlins had a 4-run lead going into that 9th inning, and that was a Heath Bell implosion. The Cardinals would win that game in extra innings. And that seemed like rock bottom, didn't it, for the Marlins at that point? Marlins have regrouped. They've won 3 in a row, including the first 2 of this series against the Phillies. And it's been a roller coaster of a year so far, and obviously approaching the halfway point. A miserable April. Josh Johnson said it best when talking about the first 2 weeks of April. He said it was absolute chaos.
Well, I'll tell you what, this is the amazing number. The Marlins won more games in May than they won combined in April and June.
They had the best month ever in May.
I think chaos, mainly because of the way the season started. The one game here, the openers in Cincinnati, then to Philadelphia, getting used to a new facility.
The suspension of Ozzie Guillen.
Yeah, it's a good description.
Wigginton pops it up. Dobbs makes the catch. Victorino is still anchored at first. Tommy, I know you're a big UFC fan. And on Saturday, it returns to Fox 4 massive fights. Shogun Rua taking on Brandon Vera. It's the biggest fight of Vera's career, Tommy. It's an epic bout. Former UFC champ Lyoto Machida and rising star Ryan Bader. UFC Fight Night on Fox, sponsored by Bud Light, live from L.A. Saturday, the 4th of August at 8 o'clock. Liner into right. And it's a base hit. Stanton over the line. He picks it up. Fontenot will stop at first. Good strong throw by Stanton. Victorino stops at third base. So Mike Fontenot with a base hit. Now you've got Nolasco needing to get Joe Blanton out.
Now Fontenot playing in place of Utley today has swung the bat pretty well each time. Hit a deep fly ball his first time up. Chases Victorino over to third there. You know, you know me with NASCAR and the PGA, but UFC,
not yet, huh?
Haven't gotten there yet. See, we have it covered up here because I lean on you for tennis, for college hoops, even college football.
And you, of course, a NASCAR aficionado.
NBA
you're in, and you're always in the golf pool in the clubhouse.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, PGA.
Look at Blanton. He's staring down at the first base umpire, Angel Campos.
And NHL, we just call Goldie.
That's true. That's true. We do have Goldie on speed dial for that. Oh, 2 coming. Got him. Blanton strikes out. Nolasco leaves those 2 runners out there, and the Marlins hold on to a 3-1 lead.
Toyota.
Cookie and Raul.
Rich, Tommy, how are you?
Richie, Tommy, how are you guys?
We're pretty good. We like the chance, because we haven't had the opportunity very often, like the chance to have a sweep.
Oh, the last time was late May when we had that opportunity when they swept the Nationals. And it seems like they're going to have to get a couple more of these along the way if they want to get back in contention.
I think it's the last time. I think that we beat them 5 straight. It's go way back. So this could be the first time that we do it. It's, I think it was, 2004 or around there.
From this point on, starting here in 2012, how many more All-Star teams will Giancarlo make?
Nice.
Well,
how many do you think, Cookie?
Wow, I think that he's going to make 15, 20 of them. He's only 22 years old. It's amazing, and he deserves it, very well. He's improved a lot and feeling more comfortable at the plate and on the field. Great arm. I think he's got, my God, a bunch of All-Star coming up to him.
Well, Cookie's going to be up there in Kansas City.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the Royals are doing a nice job of bringing back some of the old baseball players from the franchise.
When you're in the Kansas City Hall of Fame.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, right. Hey, nice going, Cookie.
I'm going to DH in the game. As a matter of fact, exactly the date where the Marlins won 5 straight against the Phillies was July 22nd to the 29th in the year 2004. So let's do it. I think it'll be great.
3-2 pitch rolled on the ground to short. Rollins just gets Reyes by a step. All right, guys.
All right, senor. Have a safe trip and bring some wins.
All right, we will, and have a good time in Kansas City, Cookie.
Will do. Thank you, Tommy.
This, by the way, Rich, is the Phillies. They're the first team to reach the actual halfway point. This is the 81st game for the Phillies this year.
Yeah, they're way out in front of the Marlins. This is, game number 78 for the Marlins. Hanley Ramirez goes after a high fastball and fouls it back. Hanley, Giancarlo Stanton coming up in the bottom of the 5th. Charlie Manuel and his Phillies have won 5 consecutive National League East titles, and certainly that's in jeopardy. A lot of baseball to be played, but the way things have played out right now, it's a whole different division.
We've been talking about the All-Star team. Haven't seen all the complete lists. Did we see Josh Willingham's name on there in the American League, who has 16 home runs, 52 RBIs for the Twins?
I do not see the Hammer's name on there.
So obviously the Twins have another representative.
Efforting.
Your search engine is going.
Joe Mauer, the Twins representative. Is Bland upset with himself, or is he upset with the home plate umpire?
He's upset with the home plate umpire, Dana Demuth.
He's had about 3 or 4.
Yeah.
And those balls aren't even close.
No.
He's had about 3 or 4 balls where he's stalked off the mound, and in each case, the ball's been way out of the strike zone.
And Dana Demuth has been correct.
Hanley gets jammed and fouls it off.
Hanley 0 for 2 today, but came into the game 8 for 24 with a home run against Joe Bland.
Willingham is not one of the final vote candidates for the American League either.
Do we know who those are?
Yes, they are. Here are the final vote candidates for the National League.
National League. Okay, give me the National League.
Michael Bourne, Chipper Jones, 2 Braves, David Freese, Bryce Harper, and Arizona's Aaron Hill. Aaron Hill's hit for the cycle twice last 2 weeks.
He's hitting over 300. Boy, that's a tough choice.
For the American League, Jonathan Broxton of Kansas City, Yu Darvish of Texas, Jason Hamill of the Orioles. Hanley a swing and a miss. He strikes out. Jake Peavy of the White Sox and Ernesto Frieri of the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim. Here comes Giancarlo Stanton in the third inning. Stanton opposite field, just a flick of the bat and a solo shot, his 19th of the season. He's driven in 50 runs now.
Yu Darvish is 10-4, but he himself said the other day that he didn't think he was deserving of being an all-star. But what if he wins today? He's pitching today, and he'll have one more start.
Maybe he'll change his mind.
Yeah,
especially when he finds out the fine gift bags they get for going to the All-Star game.
I think I'd vote for him in the American League. National League's tough. I might go with Aaron Hill though. The Chipper Jones entry to that brings up an interesting topic. Just add guys like Chipper Jones to the list. Let them come and be an honorary All-Star. They don't have to play in the game. People would like to see that.
So the guys that are headed towards the Hall of Fame,
yeah,
let them be honored, take a victory lap, so to speak.
And especially in Chipper's case, it's his last year. He's announced that this year.
The 3-1 pitch is a strike. And that pitch was inside as well.
You hit for the cycle twice before the All-Star game. You should be there.
Aaron Hill. Stanton swings and misses. And the inning ends. A 1-2-3 inning for Blanton to the 6th. 3-1 Marlins.
Ballpark. Vice President Biden was here for a commencement to high school graduating class, Cypress Bay, and now the very first wedding held at Marlins Park featuring Kayla and Nate. What a good Marlins fans. You actually were the inspiration though, Kayla. Yeah?
I was. I've been a Marlins fan all my life since, '93 when they started, and my mom got me into it, and ever since I've been, we love it here.
Your dad walking you down the aisle here today?
He did, yes.
And a great moment here at the ballpark. Nate became a big Marlin fan now. I guess you have to be, right?
Yeah, and you know what? It's not that bad. I like it a lot now, and it's fun. It's a blast to come here to the stadium and be with all the other fans. It's great.
It's a lot of fun here at Marlins Park. Why have the wedding here, Kayla?
Well, it's funny. Me and my girlfriend, it was during Sunfest, and we were just hanging out talking. And she's a notary, and she could marry us. And she's like, "Why don't we just do it at Marlins game?" I said, "Okay." And 2 months later, here we are.
And your first date was here too, right?
Yep, July 4th, 2009.
Marlins won that game?
We did. It was very exciting.
Marlins.com for information if you would like to get married, be your first marriage or even beyond. But we hope that everything goes as well as the Marlin game you went to that day. They won.
Yes, they did.
And then here today, what would happen?
I'm hoping we're going to get a sweep. It's going to be good. I'm already on cloud 9 because I'm getting married, but cloud 100 because we're going to get the sweep, and I will be so ecstatic.
That's 91 clouds for a win.
Yep, I brought my broom today too, so we better.
All right, congratulations, you guys. They got the whole area here. It's really nice.
Yes, it is. It's beautiful.
All right, let's go back to the game, guys.
You think the sweep would be more important than the honeymoon?
No. Come on. Let's get real. Jimmy Rollins, Juan Pierre, Hunter Pence, and Ricky Nolasco looking good. A 2-2 count on Rollins, the leadoff hitter for the Phillies. Good sharp break, and Nolasco strikes Rollins out for the second time in the ball game.
If you break down what Ricky's done today, number one, velocity's been a little bit better. It's been kind of like it was against St. Louis. That's good. Low 90s. The slider has been there. All his breaking pitches have been there as well. The curveball, changeup. I think he's thrown some really good changeups. He's backed it up a couple of times. So he's got all of them working today.
Juan Pierre brings a bunt with him down the first base line. No chance to get him. John Buck trying to make that decision whether to let it roll and see if it would trickle foul or try to get him, and he tried to get him. And I don't know that that ball was rolling foul.
No, I think at that point it's really too late either way. I don't think it would have gone foul. Talking to Ozzie about Juan Pierre, who he had as a White Sox player, talking about all the days he would see Juan Pierre out there with the bucket of balls, working on his bunting. Hardest worker in baseball.
He is. And I don't think enough people know that about him. I think some people see a major league player like Pierre and think, boy, he's just supremely talented. And certainly Pierre has talent. But whatever industry, were he a lawyer, a doctor, or in real estate, he would be the hardest working person in that industry as well. That's the type of person he is. Hunter Pence now drove in a run on a ground ball in the first, struck out in the fourth.
Juan Pierre's one of those guys you hope when his career is over he stays in the game in some capacity.
Pence a liner over the glove of Reyes into left field. Morrison picks it up. Now the Phillies have something going, and they've got Carlos Ruiz coming up. Nolasco's been able to get Ruiz twice. He struck him out in the fourth, got him to bounce into a double play in the first.
And one of the areas, and he's excelled in just about everything, Carlos Ruiz, 344 with runners in scoring position this year. That's 8th in the National League.
Big lead by Pierre. Ruiz fouls that pitch back.
Always talk about runners. This is a great lesson for kids to get as big a lead as possible. And Pence sees where Dobbs is. So he keeps inching and inching off because he knows Dobbs, who's way behind him, he's taking a peek. Can't beat him back to first base.
And the guy that knows that the best right now is Omar Infante. Infante.
Yeah, you know if there's going to be a close place at second, Pence will be there in a hurry.
And it was Pence who took Infante out on that double play back in the first. Infante turned it, but Pence got a good piece of Infante. Pence a big guy that runs fast too, so this is not going to be an easy turn if the ball's hit to the left side for Infante. Nolasco, the 0-1 pitch. Breaking ball misses low. You talked about hardest to strike out in the National League. Polanco third. Well, Carlos Ruiz is on that list as well. He's 10th toughest to strike out in the league. Nolasco got him in the fourth. Just 1 strikeout every 9 at bats. Lost his bat, and the ball fouled back as well.
See what Ricky does now. He can go back in and up with a fastball, or he can go away with that slider to see if Ruiz will chase it. Ricky closing in on Dontrell Willis as far as being #1 in innings pitched as a Marlins pitcher. Came into the game about 10 innings away.
One-two coming. Buck couldn't hold it.
He went with the slider. Ruiz just got a piece of it, and John Buck couldn't quite handle it. Saw Buck shift outside. He kind of made a mistake with it. Got a little too much at the plate.
Of course, Nolasco is the all-time leader in wins in Marlins franchise history. 70 and 57 in his career. This is his 164th start. One-two. Ruiz pops it into shallow center. Ruggiano comes on. It's a good out to get for Nolasco. 2 outs in the 6th inning. The next Jiffy Lube Friday Night Live is on the 13th. Postgame concert with hip-hop icon, international recording artist, and all-around good guy Flo Rida. Marlins and Nationals at 7:10. After the concert, Flo Rida. 1-877 Marlins. Go to marlins.com.
Flo Rida has made an appearance at Sun Life before, but I think first time at Marlins Park.
Victorino has bounced out and singled. And it pops out of Buck's glove and goes to the screen.
Boy, it looked like he got crossed up. If he didn't get crossed up, he really had trouble handling a pitch that appeared to have a lot of movement. And he went after it with the backhand instead of shifting over the other way. So it should be a pass ball.
They've given a wild pitch to Nolasco, but
I don't know if I agree on that.
I'm with you on that. I think that's a pass ball. Now Nolasco has to buckle down and get Victorino with a pair of runs in scoring position.
This is an area that has been a struggle for the Phillies. Runners in scoring position.
You got Pierre and Pence. Pence runs well, the trail runner.
It's a key moment right here.
And Nolasco wants to visit with John Buck with a count 2-0.
You know, you have a situation with first base open. You hate to put the go-ahead run on. But you have a situation 2-0. You hate to just give in and make some good pitches to Victorino. Because if you lose him, you can start all over again with Polanco.
We've been talking about toughest to strike out and how both Polanco and Ruiz are in the top 10 in the National League. So is Victorino.
Good pitch. That's pretty much, I'm sure, what they talked about out there. You don't have to just go 2-0 fastball to Victorino.
Buries it, and it gets by Buck. Boy, a nightmare of a sequence for John Buck. It's a 3-2 game. Ball in the dirt, and it got under his glove.
That's one of those that looks like it skids and skips off the plate, and because of that, it doesn't bounce. It just stays low, and John Buck didn't stay low with it, and it got underneath.
Now it's 3-1, and it's a one-run game.
That, I'm sure, will be a wild pitch.
Breaking ball for a strike. A wild pitch, but certainly a ball that needs to be blocked.
Needs to be blocked. With a runner at third, runners at second and third in that case. Absolutely.
So 3-2 on Victorino. Breaking ball, he fouls it off. Ricky's gone curveball to get strikes in this at bat. We'll see if he stays with it. The Phillies overall have dropped 4 straight and are 36-44. After a 9-19 June, the Marlins won just 8 games in June. Half of those 8 were wins against the Phillies. 3-2. Breaking ball, ground ball, Dobbs backhands. Nolasco's there and gets the out, hangs on to the lead, but the Phillies get a run. And it's a 1-run game heading to the bottom of the 6th in Miami. When we get back, we'll go down the list of the National League All-Stars. Behind the plate. Dan Ugla is the starter at second base. I think the biggest surprise is that Pablo Sandoval is starting at third base in place of David Wright. Wright named to the team. An outfield of Cabrera, Kemp, who's injured, and Beltran in right. American League, Mike Napoli behind the plate. Prince Fielder, Adrian Beltre on the corners.
Not too many question marks in that American League.
Yeah, Jeter and Cano up the middle. Granderson, Hamilton, Bautista in the outfield.
Josh Hamilton with 73 RBIs. Already. Big Poppy, DH.
Bottom of the 6th, Marlins with a 3-2 lead, but the Phillies have crept closer. Joe Blanton misses outside, and it's 1-0. Logan Morrison is singled and walked against Blanton.
Yeah, the Phillies getting that run in kind of a disjointed inning. So things that happened that shouldn't have happened.
I think on one of the wild pitches, the first one, I wouldn't be surprised if they review that and call it a pass ball, because it makes the run an earned run instead of what really should be an unearned run.
Well, bottom line, it was a ball that didn't hit the dirt and was catchable.
But Nolasco, give him credit. He hung in there and he got that out and finished the 6th and keeps the lead. It's 3-2. Morrison with the count 1-2. Blanton's still going strong. Joe Blanton's thrown 90 pitches. Nolasco's thrown 80. Blanton has 6 strikeouts. And Nolasco has 6. Two coming. Morrison pulls that breaking ball. Fontenot on the outfield grass throws him out. So an out here in the 6th with Justin Ruggiano and Greg Dobbs also coming up. The Marlins are headed up to Milwaukee. The Brewers have been tangling with the Diamondbacks, and that game is scoreless right now in the top of the 3rd. Marlins in Milwaukee for a 4-game series which stretches through the 4th of July.
So we'll be spending the 4th at Miller Park.
Brewers broke loose last night in a 10-2 win over the Diamondbacks, and a guy that the Marlins are going to see, a local guy, got the win. Mike Fiers. Fiers went 6 innings, gave up just 2 hits, and struck out 10.
It looks like one guy they'll miss who's always been tough on the Marlins is Giovanni Gallardo, because Gallardo's pitching today. Told you Braun hit a couple of home runs in that game. Ryan Braun hitting .313, 22 home runs, 55 RBIs.
Blanton with the breaking ball. Mike Fiers went to Deerfield Beach High School and Nova Southeastern. Brewers 22nd round in 2009, coming out of Nova Southeastern. He was born in Fort Lauderdale.
So he'll pitch the Thursday game against Mark Burley.
Ruggiano walks. Blanton again is looking in and signaling to Dana DeMuth.
He seemed to get confirmation, but I tell you what, many times that is a strike. It was in the zone, number 7.
Yeah, I think Joe was correct in questioning that one. So it's down, and Ruggiano's aboard, and the Marlins have been aggressive in this one. Dobbs has a stolen base. Ruggiano certainly has the type of speed that you might start the runner, and Dobbs is a good hitter and a good contact guy if you want to hit and run. And the other important part of that is Blanton is around the plate.
Here's a good question for you. This one you can answer. I stumped you a while ago.
On which one?
Well, we never got to that. We got to get back to that. But if you're a middle infielder, who do you have covered with Dobbs up there? The way he swings the bat.
I would have the second baseman covered.
Yeah, because he hits the ball well the other way.
Yep. Swing and a miss, and it's 0-2.
Now the question was that extra outfielder. If Kemp doesn't play, is the starter? Is that then the guy who accumulated the next most amount of votes, be 4th, or is it a manager's choice?
Or is he the guy that won the players' vote? Text La Russa, find out. Here's the 0-2, and it's out.
Should be, at that point, it should be a choice of the manager.
Hyundai bringing you Fox Tracks. I would think center field, Andrew McCutchen would be the guy.
He's number 1. He's a terrific center fielder. He's having a great offensive year. I have no argument with that.
You saw Carlos Ruiz out there. The last 2 teams the Marlins have seen in this ballpark, Michael Schwimmer, Jake Diekman, have two catchers who are very much in control and in charge, and Yadier Molina and Carlos Ruiz.
Who, by the way, Molina just went deep in that Cardinal game. Cardinals taking a 1-0 lead against the Pirates. And I'm sure it's what, another toasty afternoon in St. Louis.
Closer. Ruggiano was leaning. You get the sense that now that there's 2 strikes on Dobbs, the likelihood that he's running has risen. Blanton ready, not running. And Dobbs goes after the 1-2 pitch. Joe Blanton getting stronger as the game goes along.
Yeah, he has. Not too often, not too many times this year have we seen Dobbs fooled this much. Fooled on that breaking ball. Strikeout number 7. Number 8 for Blanton.
So here's Infante, and we'll see if Ruggiano is running with 2 outs. Ruiz has thrown out 31% of base stealers, which is good this year. Last year he threw out only 19%.
Yeah, I think if you break down the 2 catchers, Molina and Ruiz, Yadier defensively has the edge.
Infante waiting. Blanton steps off. Blanton is over 100 pitches now. This next one will be 105. Nolasco sits at 80. Infante called out on strikes in the 4th. RBI double in the 2nd. That one down the line, but foul. Well, with Ruggiano's speed, if he's able to keep that one fair, that's another run.
Would have been interesting. You got the feeling Juan Pierre would have been able to cut it off.
And, for Pierre, the Phillies have a little bit of an abridged relay system, don't they?
Yeah, they've worked it out where, depending on where Jimmy Rollins is, if he hasn't had to go after the ball, he can go out into shallow left field, get that throw right away from Juan Pierre. And that's something Joe Espada was telling us the other night. It was the reason he held, I believe it was Giancarlo at that time, held him at third base.
Counts 0-2. Boy, Ruggiano was all but picked off.
Well, it's a good thing Wigginton didn't throw a tag down on him.
I'm surprised he didn't. He was doing the swim move back. That's a lonely feeling. In the dirt. One and 2. Bland has come close to picking Ruggiano off a few times in this inning. He's running. It's a pitch out. Ruiz's throw. Fontenot with the tag, and he's out. So the Phillies win the game of cat and mouse. Mouse is caught at second. 3-2 ball game. Miami on top of Philadelphia. Giancarlo Stanton named an all-star and homers all within about a half an hour. Omar Infante and John Buck with RBI doubles, but the Phillies got a run on the top of the 6th on a rough inning for Buck behind the plate. Couple balls that got by him to the screen. And so it's a 1-run game that Ricky Nolasco is going to try to protect here in the 7th. Placido Polanco, Ty Wigginton, and Mike Fontenot scheduled for the fighting Phillies.
This would be a nice inning for Ricky to come out and have a quick inning. Still making good pitches. He made good pitches even last inning.
He's got Polanco first, who's 0 for 2. This is in with a breaking ball, and it's 1-0. Nationals have a 5-1 lead. There's Mike Dunn in the bullpen. Nationals 5-1 in Atlanta in the bottom of the 5th. And a strike. Game time temperature 101. How'd you like to be Tim McClellan working home plate in that one?
Well, Steven Strasburg only lasted 3 innings yesterday.
Ryan Zimmerman has a home run, a solo shot, and an RBI double. Was driven in 3. Polanco, Wigginton, Fontenot, Nolasco with the Marlins bullpen warming up. And a bouncer up the middle. Jose Reyes. Terrific play by Big Jose. And that'll bring a smile to Little Jose's face, Tommy.
Oh, yeah. Little Jose loves a good defense. Look at a little tricky hop. Comes up to him, stays with it, crosses body. Nice stretch by Dauber.
I got a surprise. You want weather?
Oh,
here's
man.
Our new weather correspondent, Lil Jose. This is weather around the country on this baseball weekend.
So on that map, what we're highlighting, Miami, the coolest spot amongst those cities we highlighted.
Now that's yesterday. And obviously here you've got the roof and the air conditioning. The Marlins are headed up to Milwaukee.
Milwaukee's going to be 90. It's going to be warm. It'll be warm in St. Louis. Anytime you go to St. Louis in July, it's going to be warm.
Wigginton is flied out, popped out. Pulls a ground ball to third. Hanley Ramirez gathers it in and fires across high. Dobbs with the tag after making a leap and a catch.
This is a perfect example. We've talked about it a few times. Why Hanley needs to get rid of this quicker. Okay, couple of steps, looks at the ball, taps it, couple of more steps. Get rid of it, because now he throws high. If he got rid of it 2 steps prior, it gives Dobbs time to get up, get down, and make a tag. That was a lot closer than it should have been.
Here is Fontenot. I like the Jose Reyes school of throwing. Reyes gets it.
He throws the same every time.
He absolutely fires it. 100% on 100% of the balls. And he is a very accurate thrower as a shortstop.
Kind of reminds me of one of my mother's old sayings. Don't dilly-dally. Get it and throw it.
Here's the 1-1. Well, your mother and Southern California is where you grew up, right? Pasadena.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm sure she may have gotten that from John Wooden, who always said, be quick, but don't be in a hurry.
There you go.
Here's the 2-1.
And no, my mother was not the little old lady from Pasadena.
How fast did she drive, though? 2-2. Nolasco to Fontenot. Big curveball misses up. Ricky trying to put 7 solid innings in the book. The last time he went 7 innings against the Phillies, he got the win. Beat him 5-4 up at Citizens Bank Park. A Hunter Pence home run was the big blow for the Phillies, but Nolasco beat him on the 2nd of June. Reyes around it, bobbles on a hop, safe. Real tough play, and Reyes, I'm not sure if it was a bobble or just on the transfer, it kicked from his glove right to his bare hand. He didn't have a lot of momentum, and from that side of the plate, Fontenot really scooted down the line.
He got on the heel. There's the little bobble, and because of that, he one-hops the throw. But either way, Fontenot got out of the box quickly and showed his speed and just beat it out for an infield hit.
They're going to give Reyes an error on that?
Well, whoever's keeping score has no freaking clue then.
I'm with you.
An error?
Randy St. Clair out to talk to my partner's just gone bananas in the booth. Here's another look. Reyes, a bit of a bobble and then a one-hop throw. He beats it out. I don't think you can give a guy an error for just a little bobble like that.
That is not an error.
You okay now? Feel better?
I vented a little bit. But I think they have soundproof glass between me and the scorekeeper. So I don't think he heard me.
That's probably a good thing. Well, the guy that replaced Jim Thome is Jason Pridey. You see the year that he was having at Lehigh Valley.
Saw Pridey last year with the Mets.
In the dirt, Buck knocks it down.
First of all, the wild pitch on Ricky was a pass ball. That's a base hit. So scorekeeper's 0 for 2 today.
And now Nolasco misses away. You saw Mike Dunn was up, and Dunn is ready. Michael Schwimmer looks like he's coming in for the Phillies.
I think Ozzie might make the move. Not sure if he'd make it with Rollins, but possibly just to switch him over to the other side of the plate if Ricky somehow loses Pridey.
Pridey lines it to left. Morrison on the move, reaches up and makes the catch. And the Phillies' 7th is over. 7th inning stretch in Miami. A 3-2 game. 7th, our Land Rover game summary.
All right, we're going to give you a little scoring in this one. How about Ricky Nolasco? A little trouble in the first inning. First time the Phillies have scored first in this series. Juan Pierre triple comes in to score on a fielder's choice. Great base running by JP and a terrific slide. But in the second inning, the Marlins get right back into it. An RBI double off the bat of Omar Infante. And how about John Buck? He sends a double the other way. So the Marlins took the lead in the second inning with those 2 runs. The All-Star, love saying it, All-Star Giancarlo Stanton. An opposite field shot for Stanton, number 19 on the year. That was the 3rd run for the Fish. A wild pitch brings in the 2nd run for the Phillies, and just like that, it's a 1-run ball game. Close game, good game. Ricky Nolasco has thrown the ball well.
So Nolasco logs 7 innings, 5 hits, 2 runs. As of now, they're both earned. If that first ball, which we thought should have been a pass ball, is changed, one of those runs becomes unearned. No walks and 6 strikeouts. And for Nolasco, his second real strong start against the Phillies.
Yeah, watch some of these pitches. There's a slider. He's kept that ball down. He makes a nice play, helps himself out there as well. High fastball, gets a strikeout. Another comebacker, helping himself out. Gets Pence on a good slider. Another good slider to get the All-Star Ruiz. Change-up, sliders, curves, fastballs. Ricky's had it all. And not sure if he's going to go back out there, but right now he has a 3-2 lead.
Well, he's due up 3rd this inning. Michael Schwimmer takes over for Blanton. Blanton goes 6 innings. Blanton struck out 7, and he gives up 3 runs, all of them earned. Omar Infante, John Buck, and then that 9 spot, the pitcher spot. Austin Kearns has a bat right now in the Marlins dugout, and a strike to Infante. Infante had a long at bat in the 6th inning, which never finished because Ruggiano was thrown out trying to steal. Blanton tried to pick Ruggiano off numerous times. That's a fair ball, and Polanco an easy toss across the diamond to get Infante.
You know, Rich, the bullpen of the Phillies, which has given them trouble, has actually had a good series. They've gone 4 2/3 innings now, giving up just 3 hits and no runs. So on the year, the Phillies bullpen has had a little trouble, but in this series they've pitched well. And another key for the Marlins, they've been able to keep Jonathan Papelbon out of games.
Now Buck, who takes down low. Buck an RBI double and has struck out. Ball and a strike. And so the Marlins bullpen without Edward Mujica, as Mike Dunn and Steve Cishek up. Wade LeBlanc, as of an hour and a half before game time, was not in the clubhouse but on his way.
And I think, as Ozzie put it, he would probably use LeBlanc more as a long man, and that's not necessarily a good thing. That usually means your starter's out of the game early, but that's probably how it'll be used. He was a starter in AAA, but it's good to have another lefty.
And Randy St. Clair said in his career, LeBlanc has done a little bit of everything.
And LeBlanc, go way back to spring training, had a terrific spring. Actually pitched well enough to make the ball club.
Two 2-1. Breaking ball is a strike. There he is.
Left-hander. Very similar styles to a Mark Burley.
As he said, if he were to give out a Cy Young Award for spring training, LeBlanc would have captured that award. Buck, a little tapper, slowly hit. Rollins backhands and gets him by a step.
Well, when you're a catcher Tough to get up that line in a hurry. And because of that, Jimmy Rollins got John Buck by a step.
So this is the end of Ricky Nolasco's run. Austin Kearns steps in. Kearns has kind of been a forgotten man over the last 2 weeks, ever since he came off the disabled list, because of the month of Justin Ruggiano. Ruggiano, when he's not starting, gets the first call as a right-handed bat. And when he has started, he's played very, very well.
Good pinch hitting numbers, 3 for 9.
Fastball rides up under his hands. Nolasco hopeful that the bullpen can deliver this one. Now, the last time we said that,
he had a much bigger lead.
6-1 was the lead. Now it's just a 1-run lead.
All Ricky can do now is sit, watch, wait a little, root.
Schwimmer misses out, and he's gone 3-1 to Kearns. You've got Reyes on deck.
And Richie can do all those things because he cannot tweet during the game. .31 slider. Austin Kearns and most hitters were not and would not be expecting that.
And he got a breaking ball and he strikes out. So Schwimmer goes 1-2-3 through the fish in the 7th. Ricky's day is done. Now it's turned over to the bullpen.
Last night he came in, threw 10 pitches. All 10 pitches were strikes. We've seen command of his fastball and breaking ball. The breaking ball has been a real key for him. He hasn't tried to overthrow, and since his return he has been terrific. He comes in for the 8th inning here.
Those are the last 3 outings, and Dunn gets the top of the order for the Phillies. Jimmy Rollins. It's Juan Pierre's spot, but John Mayberry is on deck, and then Hunter Pence. And so this one is a ways from being over. Dunn.
The other thing to throw into consideration, it's also Dunn's 3rd consecutive outing against the Phillies in this series.
As we told you yesterday, one of the things that he came back to the big leagues with was a determination to pitch to location instead of pitching to velocity. Always a hard thrower. He said that Before, he was more worried about throwing everything hard, be it a fastball or a slider. Now that he's backed off, all of a sudden he can spot his fastball and he can throw his breaking ball for strikes.
He's become more of a pitcher than a thrower.
He's got Rollins up first. And there's that slider, which he had trouble throwing for strikes his last time in the big leagues. Rollins goes after a low fastball, and the count's 1-2. Nationals and Braves 6-4 in the bottom of the sixth in the heat in Atlanta. The Nationals on top. Washington looking to win their 45th game. They are 12 games over right now. Mets are in Los Angeles, and they play tonight.
Johan Santana with 8 shutout innings last night against the Dodgers. Of course, then again, a lot of pitchers have done that against the Dodgers recently.
Most of them wearing San Francisco Giant jerseys. Rollins a fly ball out, and now with Pierre out of the game, Mayberry comes up and will pinch hit for him. And Ozzie, once that move is made, is going to go down, and looks like he's going to get Steve Cishek. So Mike Dunn gets Rollins. You've got right-handed bats coming up, so why not bring in the right-hander? 3-2 Miami. And have a party at Shucker's Bar and Grill, 1819 79th Street Causeway in the North Bay Village. Music, entertainment, prizes, and more. Meet Billy, the Energy Team. Great specials on Presidente and Presidente Lights. Go to Marlins.com for more details. Here in this one today, Steve Cishek enters the ball game with 1 out and nobody on. Top 8. Marlins hanging on to a 1-run lead.
If Charlie Manuel does not pinch hit for Juan Pierre, I'm sure Ozzie leaves Dunn in to pitch to Pierre. But with the move to the right-handed bat of Mayberry, we see Steve Cishek. By the way, it's great listening to some of Ozzie's comments about Giancarlo as an all-star and the importance not only for him but for the organization. Ozzie, an all-star 3 times in his career.
Ozzie also a rookie of the year. and a Gold Glove winner. Mayberry lines it into left center field. That's a base hit. Ruggiano picks it up, and he'll hold him to a single. And so now the Phillies have a runner aboard, and the big bats come up with Hunter Pence and Carlos Ruiz. A pinch hit for John Mayberry Jr.
I think now is a great opportunity for Steve Cishek to get back into the way he was early in the year. He's very consistent. He's gotten a little bit out of that. And the reason I say that is because without Edward Mujica, all of a sudden Cishek's role becomes more important.
He's got a tough hitter here in Pence. And a strike. Pence has a single. He drove in a run with a ground ball out in the first. That's the May that he had and the June that he endured.
A lot of us endured in June.
But it's amazing. You turn the page, and the Marlins started June on an up note. They had won 2 of 3 in Philly. Remember, they had just swept the Nationals to end May. And then the bottom fell out. Now they've regrouped, winning 3 straight to end June and trying to open July with a win. You wouldn't think that the turn of the calendar would mean much. Wade LeBlanc starting to toss. Cishek steps off. Mayberry back at first base. John Mayberry Jr., a big guy, and has 1 stolen base this year. Just missed.
We saw Ricky earlier with 2 strikes on Pence trying to go away, get him to chase, and it was off the plate. It was outside. You would think Cishek and John Buck on that page to do the same thing. Try to get him to chase something off the plate.
Two. He went
just like that.
He got him.
It's a common theme. You can widen that strike zone with 2 strikes on Pence.
Now Ruiz, whom the Marlins have kept under control in this ball game. He's 0 for 3. But yesterday, he banged out 2 doubles. 19 doubles to go with the 11 home runs for Ruiz. And he smokes a ball into left field. That's a base hit, and that's going to give Victorino another shot. Remember, Victorino came to the plate when Nolasco was battling through the 6th with wild pitches and base hits, and Victorino bounced to Dobbs to finish the inning. Randy St. Clair on the horn. And here comes St. Clair out to talk to both Buck, Cishek, and a few infielders, I would expect. Randy Choate getting loose.
That's the luxury of number 1 having Mike Dunn pitching the way he has been. It frees up Choate for maybe a little later in the game for a lefty-lefty matchup. And now with Wade LeBlanc here, it gives Ozzie another left-hander, a third lefty.
One of the 2 guys, LeBlanc and Chad Gaudin, or maybe both, also are going to have to need to be able to come in and get an out or two as a real short reliever. Because having two long guys on your staff, you're going to need those guys to come in and say pitch a 7th inning or get an out at the end of the 6th or in the 8th. 1-0 pitch. In the dirt, Buck makes a nice backhanded stop. And Cishek now with a count 2-0. You see Guillen out there trying to get Cishek calmed down. You certainly wouldn't bring Choate in to face Polanco. Victorino in the air. Ruggiano makes the catch. And Steve Cishek survives the 8th. The Marlins hang on to a 1-run lead. An afternoon of baseball has reached the bottom of the 8th. 3-2, Miami on top of the Phillies. The Marlins have won the first 2 of the series. John Mayberry stays in the ball game. He hit in Juan Pierre's spot, so he's out in left field. And Antonio Bastardo comes out of the Phillies bullpen.
So what Bastardo will do, he'll flip Jose Reyes around to the right side. So Charlie Manuel has confidence in Bastardo with Hanley and Stanton following Reyes before you get to another left-hander.
There's nobody throwing in the Phillies pen, and in the Marlins pen, as expected, in a 1-run game, Heath Bell is up. Bell yesterday worked a scoreless 9th to save another 3-2 ball game. He did give up a double to Carlos Ruiz with 1 out. But he got a great play.
That helps Ozzy's peripheral vision. Oh, okay.
Those are sweet. So Bell's warming up. The Marlins trying to add some insurance. Antonio Bastardo's out there. Reyes is 0 for 3. He's bounced out twice and flied to center. And Bastardo misses inside. Michael McHenry is homered. And the Pirates are back on top of St. Louis, 4-3 in the 4th. Pirates playing so well right now.
Pirates came into play today just a game behind the Reds. Pirates at 42-35.
Pitch is up. Game time temperature in St. Louis, 98 degrees.
Cooling off.
It'll be in the mid-90s by the time we get there. What, next Thursday night?
Yeah, I think it's supposed to kick back up again.
Reyes walks, and the Marlins have a speedy base runner on in the bottom of the 8th inning. As always, our Checkers postgame is coming up. Marlins Live. Billy will be there. So will Craig Minervini and Jeff Conine.
Bastardo this year hasn't quite had the consistency that he had last year. Boy, last year in 64 outings, 58 innings, just 28 hits and 70 strikeouts.
Hanley didn't mean to swing, and Bastardo gets a strike out of it. Counts 0-1. 31,727. So the last two crowds of this Phillies series over 30,000.
Right on a Sunday afternoon. I know you and I talked about this earlier in the year, how South Floridians and folks in the Miami area are going to have to change their whole thought plan and say, hey, it's Sunday, it's hot. Be a great day to go to Marlins Park.
So many people, and my family included, day games, especially once you get into May at Sun Life Stadium, just unbearable, the heat. Reyes away from first. 0-2 to Hanley. It's in, and the count is 1-2. The Phillies have an off day tomorrow in New York, and then 3 games against the Mets for hosting the Braves to finish off their first half. Phillies will face Jonathan Neese, Chris Young, and then R.A. Dickey to finish that 3-game series. 1-2 pitch coming. Runner goes, taken for a ball. No one's at second. Mike Fontenot was late, and that's one of two things. Either he didn't see Reyes running, or he and Rollins weren't square on who was covering.
Well, neither moves, and by the time Fontenot moves, he's got to be able to see Reyes take off. So he was late. Not sure if they would have gotten. Reyes got a good jump. Stolen base number 19 for Jose.
Now the count's 2-2.
I was just thinking, you said R.A. Dickey's pitching the 3rd game of that series, so that would be Thursday. Boy, that would set him up primo to start the All-Star game, which I think a lot of the country would love to see.
Tomorrow night, Carlos Zambrano and Zach Greinke. That's a terrific matchup. And Zambrano returning to the scene of one of his greatest moments. 2-2. It's down low. It was as a Cub. It was not against the Brewers. It was against the Astros at Miller Park, where Zambrano threw a no-hitter. And Greinke is 9-2 with a 2.82 ERA. The Brewers have their ace on the mound tomorrow night.
Was Greinke on that All-Star list for the American League? I think so.
Hanley drives one left field and deep. Back goes Mayberry to the wall. Gone! Two-run shot. There's your insurance.
Yeah, we talked about Bastardo not having the same consistency as he had last year. Hanley got the breaking ball. Boy, it was in that great zone where a hitter just has to drop the head of the bat. It looks so easy. And for Hanley, home run number 12 on the year, found the Clevelander. Watch this. Here's the breaking ball. There's the swing. It's launched into the Clevelander.
Hanley's last home run came on June 3rd against Joe Blanton, who of course started this ball game for the Phillies. So Hanley starts July with a bang and a 2-run homer, a 5-2 lead. You know, we haven't seen too many home runs like that. Just get over the wall and go right into those green seats in the Clevelander. We see balls bang off the sign and then down into those green seats, or balls get back up by the pool area. They actually have a net to protect the bartenders now.
I think one of the last ones we saw there, Craig was out there.
Stanton swings and misses.
Yeah, there's the net over in here. Always have to protect the bartenders.
We'll have plenty of opportunities to get a souvenir. I'm telling you, Tommy, that looks like a great time, and that's where we are going to do the Fox Sports Fantasy Auction this year.
What's our date? August?
August 13th.
August 13th.
We'll be in the Clevelander. So Stanton goes down swinging, and here comes Morrison, who was singled, walked, and bounced out. Morrison, a high fastball, and he pops it up. Rollins behind Polanco. Rollins makes the catch. Two outs, and here comes Ruggiero. See, it gives a whole new meaning to the title of the event, the Fox Sports Florida Fantasy Auction. But we'll keep our concentration.
That'll be a tough day to keep the concentration. We'll have the auction going, have the game going.
And it's against the Phillies.
Have the other activities going. It is against the Phillies.
It's against the Phillies.
Oh, great.
And I'm hopeful that someone's going to call in and say, I'll pledge $1,000 if Tommy Hutton jumps in the pool.
But I have to carry on with the broadcast. That would be hard to do.
No, but they got towels.
Oh yeah, look at you encouraging me to jump in the pool.
That's because I think fans would pledge more money to see you jump in the pool than me. But I'll do it as well for if it's a nice bid, a nice donation. I'm in there. Ruggiero steps out of the way of that one. We have some great prizes this year.
Oh, there's always some tremendous items.
Royal Caribbean Cruise Lines has donated a 50-person birthday party or any kind of party on their best ships. That's something you can't buy. You get the run of one of the Royal Caribbean ships for your own private party.
For 50 people?
For 50 people. 25 kids, 25 adults.
Wow.
Open bar, too.
Not for the kids, though.
No, here's a 2-2. All the Mountain Dew they can handle.
Get them all jacked up on Mountain Dew.
That's right. The Field of Dreams package, where you can actually play a softball or a baseball game right here at Marlins Park. Ruggiano swings and misses. Antonio Bastardo gives up a 2-run homer to Hanley Ramirez. And the Miami Marlins go to the ninth looking for a sweep, needing 3 outs to get there. And for the Marlins, who are heading out on a 7-game road trip, you see Scott Cousins in center field. A chance for the Marlins to win their 4th straight and get to 2 under at 38-40 before they arrive in Milwaukee.
Yeah, there are a lot of things. A chance to go 5-3 against the Phillies on the season, and a chance to make it 5 in a row against the Phillies. Remember winning the last 2 in Philadelphia at the very beginning of this month.
So here is Bell. Bell yesterday shut the door on a 3-2 ball game. The Hanley home run has given him a 3-run cushion here. Placido Polanco asks for time. He'll step out. Ty Wigginton and Mike Fontenot are scheduled to hit. Remember, Chase Utley is available. Jim Thome, not so much. He's wearing a Baltimore uniform after being traded in the middle of the game yesterday.
Utley was the first batter Bell faced last night. Faced Utley, Ruiz, Pence, and Victorino. The only blemish, a double off the bat of Ruiz.
Check swing. No swing. A ball and a strike. Four in Milwaukee, 3 in St. Louis, and then the All-Star break. 1-1. Shoots a ground ball. Dobbs backing up, has it, nicely done, steps on the bag. Bell has his first out.
You know, the opportunities that Greg Dobbs has had to play first base, he's done a nice job over there defensively.
Now Wigginton, who was 0 for 3. Questions about both of these teams heading into the second half. Can they make a run? Once Howard gets here, will the Phillies start to win a few more ball games? Maybe a bigger addition would be Roy Halladay coming back healthy, because the Phillies are scoring runs.
And I guess the other question would be, when they do get those guys back, will they be too far behind?
And
with too many teams ahead of them.
And that begs the question then, are they sellers at the end of, I mean, do you keep it together to make one last run with Cole Hamels and Shane Victorino? Or do you try to trade those guys for prospects and think about next year?
I think you have to kind of assess where you're going to be. That's what they'll do, certainly, where they are at that particular time.
And for the Marlins, the question is, are they the team from May? Are they the team from June? Are they the team that can make a nice run and get back in the middle of the race? Now, Ozzie Guillen said that the other day. He said, I just don't know if we're this bad. And he said it about a week ago when the Marlins were really scuffling. I don't know if we're this bad or if we were that good. And sometimes it takes a full season to find out.
That's the point I was going to make. It's really a crazy game. And you would think, well, maybe after a month and a half, you have a good idea of what your team is. And it's not like that. It doesn't work that way. There's so many changes during the course of 6 months during the season.
3-2 pitch. Fastball, center field. Cousins comes on and makes the catch. 2 outs. Here comes Fontenot.
So the young couple who were getting married here. Remember, the groom said he brought his broom. He's feeling pretty good right now. For more than one thing, too, I'm sure.
Well, the Marlins are headed to Milwaukee. I'm not sure where that couple is headed. But I'm guessing it's not Milwaukee for the honeymoon.
I would head over to the beautiful Epic Hotel.
I might make a weekend of it at the Clevelander. Of course. Here's the 0-1 pitch. Ball and a strike.
Well, you think about it, Heath Bell, if he nails this one down, it'll be save number 17.
That's a swing and a strike. And Bell is a strike away. The Marlins, it was a great scene yesterday with Bell on the mound and the tying run out there in scoring position. The whole crowd came to their feet.
You hear the bell in the background.
1-2. And it's outside. What a nice shot in the arm this will be for the Marlins if Bell can shut the door. A team that stumbled through June, trying to win their 4th straight and sweep the Phillies. A team that when they started June were tied for 1st with the Washington Nationals. And now Ozzie Guillen's club trying to make that climb back up the ladder of the National League East, back up the ladder of the National League wild card. Two in the air. Ruggiano, ball game. Marlins win it. They sweep the Phillies. The pen nails it down for Ricky Nolasco. His 7th win of the season. Giancarlo Stanton celebrates an all-star invite with an opposite field home run. The Marlins have now won 4 in a row. The Phillies have dropped 5 in a row. And the Ramirez with a 2-run shot for insurance and a 5-2 win. Some finishing touches after this.